Egypt urged to drop political drama and engage Ethiopia technically on Gerd. Former US diplomat calls for constructive dialogue. Every statement carries a signal. When former US Ambassador to Ethiopia, Tibor Nagy, spoke this week, the message was unmistakable. It's time for Egypt to drop its political theatrics and face the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam issue with technical realism. From Washington to Addis Ababa, Nagy's remarks echoed across diplomatic circles, cutting through years of rhetoric that have turned Africa's most ambitious infrastructure project into a geopolitical flashpoint. I'm Samia Mohammed, and this is Analytica Today. Former US Ambassador to Ethiopia and Assistant Secretary of State for African Affairs Tibor Nagy has urged Egypt to prioritize technical engagement with Ethiopia over political confrontation regarding the Gerd. In a strongly worded statement posted on his X account, Nagy criticized Cairo's approach as counterproductive and called for professional, evidence-based dialogue. His comments arrive at a time when Ethiopia has officially inaugurated the dam, marking a historic milestone in its path toward energy independence and self-reliant development. Ambassador Nagy's public statement was more than diplomatic advice. It was a direct rebuke of Egypt's long-standing political posturing. I know from experience that Ethiopia cannot be bullied, and the more you push, the more immovable they become, he wrote, urging Cairo to accept today's reality. His call reflects growing international impatience with Egypt's efforts to frame the Gerd as a regional security threat rather than technical and developmental issue. For years, negotiations over the dam have oscillated between optimism and deadlock. Despite multiple African Union-led talks and third-party mediation, Egypt continues to resist progress without political guarantees that would effectively limit Ethiopia's sovereign rights to manage its own resource. Nagy's intervention, therefore, signals a broader recognition that political coercion has failed and that the path forward must be grounded in engineering, hydrology, and mutual benefit, not geopolitics. Ethiopia has long argued that the Gerd represents not confrontation, but cooperation. Built entirely through domestic financing and public bonds, the project has united millions of Ethiopians in a rare display of collective sacrifice. From farmers and students to civil servants, citizens contributed financially to make the dam a reality, a symbol of national pride and technological achievement. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed, speaking at the official inauguration on September 9, 2025, compared the Gerd's completion to the victory of Adwa, calling it a new dawn for Ethiopia. The dam's vast reservoir, named Negat Lake, now embodies the country's emergence from decades of poverty and dependency. It also represents Africa's growing capacity to undertake mega projects without relying on foreign loans or conditional aid. The Gerd, Africa's largest hydroelectric dam, is designed to power industries, electrify rural communities, and serve as cornerstone of regional integration. Once fully operational, it will supply electricity to millions in Ethiopia and potentially to neighboring countries through export agreements. This aligns with Addis Ababa's long-term strategy of turning energy into an instrument of diplomacy, binding the Horn of Africa through shared economic interests rather than political rivalries. Egypt, however, has framed the project as a potential threat to engage Ethiopia constructively. He aligns with the broader push toward Africa-led problem-solving and regional ownership of resources. Observers note that Egypt's strategy of internalization, the Gerd dispute, has yielded diminishing returns. Global powers, preoccupied with conflicts elsewhere, have shown limited appetite to mediate yet another hydropolitical standoff. Meanwhile, Ethiopia's completion of the dam with visible African support has changed the calculus. The project is no longer a matter of if, but of how cooperation can be achieved. For Ethiopia, the Gerd is not merely an energy project, it's a symbol of sovereignty, resilience, and collective identity. The country's ability to mobilize its population and fund the dam internally reflects a broader national vision of economic independence. The project's success underscores Ethiopia's determination to transform from a landlocked nation into a regional power hub. This transformation extends beyond the Nile basin. With new infrastructure corridors linking to the Red Sea, Ethiopia's ambition is to secure regional interdependence built on energy exports, trade routes, and shared development. The Gerd thus serves both as domestic triumph and as geopolitical anchor, reinforcing Ethiopia's leadership role in shaping the Horn's future. Nagy's intervention is more than a critique of Cairo. It's a call for African countries to redefine the politics of shared resources. The Nile, once seen as a source of rivalry, could instead become a platform for integration if states prioritize trust, transparency, and technology. The Gerd, when framed within the African Union, is Agenda 2063, embodies the idea of African solutions to African problems. For Egypt, this may require a strategic recalibration, moving from resistance to adaptation and from control to collaboration. For Ethiopia, it means maintaining transparency while asserting its developmental rights. The next phase of engagement, technical, data-driven, and regionally owned, will determine whether the Nile becomes a bridge or a boundary. All eyes now turn to Cairo's next move. Will Egypt heed Nagy's advice and pivot toward technical cooperation, or will it continue to frame the Gerd as a zero-sum political issue? Watch for signals from the upcoming African Union Water Ministers meeting, where technical data sharing and coordinated water management may take center stage. Also, worth observing is how Ethiopia leverages the momentum of the Gerd's inauguration, particularly its growing partnership with neighboring states eager for electricity and cross-border infrastructure. With Nigat Lake now symbolizing a new era, Ethiopia's message remains steady. Development, sovereignty, and cooperation can coexist. For now, one truth stands firm. The Gerd is no longer just a dam. It's a declaration that Africa's rivers can power not only its lights, but also its independence. I'm Samia Mohammed, and this has been Analytica today.